Well, hello there. I'm going to go over some stuff about Rusi. When I arrived in the Philippines here in Dumaguete, my motorcycle hasn't been started in about 4 months. So when I went to start it, I got some electrical power. Well, the Rusi's been sitting here for 4 months, and looks like the cover kind of deteriorated a little bit. But I'm going to take everything off and see what it looks like.
Well, welcome home.
Well, oh, thank you. Well, I took the cover off. It looks pretty good, and has a little bit of surface rust and a little dust. Other than that. And let's see if we got some power here. Well, look at that. Got a neutral light on, and 4 months later, well, let's see if we got what the oil looks like real quick. Oil doesn't look bad. Okay. Well, then let's see if it'll crank up with the electric starter here. All right, it spins. Put a choke on it. Okay. Maybe I should get on and do a kickstart. Let's see. See what happens. Let's try this. No, not seem like it's going to kick over. It doesn't seem like it wants to start. Let's try it this way. And so I called Rusi, and I got him on the phone, told him my motorcycle won't start, and within about an hour and a half, it was in the afternoon, and within about an hour and a half, they showed up. 2 guys showed up with a truck, and they hauled my Rusi to Garden Rusi. And the next morning, they called me and said it was ready to pick up. So I went over there, and it ran. And I asked the guy what was wrong with it. He said it was the carburetor. And so I was able to ride it. And then the next day, I took it to the main Rusi. And I asked them, I said I wanted to get an oil change and tune the carburetor and check the battery. And they said, okay. Now, when you get repairs done, you have to go to the counter and buy the parts. So the only parts I needed to buy was the oil, which was about 175 pesos. So after they put the oil in to check the battery and they tuned the carburetor, then I was good to go. Now, one of the things I noticed after I took it in, that was the only charge, was the oil. And then when they fixed it at Garden Rusi, there was no charge for that either. That falls into the jurisdiction of, or what they consider, a tune-up. And tune-ups are free for life, and oil changes when you buy a Rusi. The only thing you have to pay for is the oil. So I noticed that it was running pretty good, and usually in the mornings when I start my motorcycle, my Rusi, I'd have to choke it and maybe kickstart it a couple of times. It was real cold. But then after they turned the carburetor, it just started up right away. Even just with the tapping the electric starter, it's almost like fuel injection. It's almost like instantaneous warm-up. So I rode it for a while, and then I noticed my low beam didn't work. So I took it back to Rusi, and the guy said, well, you're gonna need a bulb. I said, well, how much is it? And he said it was 130 pesos. Okay, so again, you have to go to the counter, bought the bulb, you put it in, everything worked. Now, at that point, I was good to go, and I rode it up the coast for about 2 hours up the coast.
This looks like some freshly planted sugar cane. You see further back, that's the sugar cane that's growing. And here in the island of Negros, you can see sugar cane all over the place. Miles and miles. That's sugar cane right there. And miles and miles of sugar cane. And then over here, freshly planted, just harvested. And then further back, you can see sugar cane growing over there.
And then when I got back, I noticed that the low beam was out again. So, well, that's odd. And then later on, the high beam went out. So back to Rusi. And the mechanic said, well, what you need is a halogen bulb. So I said, well, how much is it? And they said, 55 pesos. Okay. Back to the counter again, bought a halogen bulb, and they took it apart. And put it back together, and I've been okay ever since. And it's running great. So that's the latest with the Rusi.